Welcome to the Gear Garage Live Show. This weekly YouTube show covers whitewater rafting, river safety,
Oh God, I lost my paddle!
gear, and anything else Zach feels like rambling on about.
Well, for today's show, Cody from Private Whitewater is joining us. Welcome to the show, Cody.
Thanks. Good to be back.
Yeah, it's nice to have you here. My audio's messed up, so if anybody hears reverberation, let me know. I'll try to fix it, but hopefully we're gonna rock with this audio setup. So thanks for joining us on a Tuesday. Cody, what's been the latest with you? What's going on with you?
I have been off paddling probably 7 weeks. I missed Boatsmith, so I'm gonna try to get back out this Thursday because flows are gonna probably be good. I'm really excited to kind of get back into everything. But all the private boaters, we just found out what permits we got February 14th. It's like a bittersweet that they do it during Valentine's Day. So
You
But,
seem pretty
no-
happy. I feel like you got some special permit.
None of us. I've got 15 friends that we all put in together kind of as a group,
Wow.
and none of us got anything. I am going back to the Selway though on
Wow, you're good.
June 10th. So I launched June 7th last year and June 10th this year. So I'm excited.
Sweet.
Oh.
And for those of you that are joining the show that don't know, Cody's YouTube channel is Private Whitewater. Look it up on YouTube. And honestly, just stop watching this right now. Go find his channel, subscribe, and then come back to this. We're going to talk about nothing useful for the next 5 minutes. You have plenty of time to subscribe to his channel. How many subscribers are you at now?
We broke 500.
Yeah,
So
we're going for 1,000.
Yeah, we're going for 1,000, but I've been super appreciative of everyone that's watched my channel.
Yeah. And I just watched your video about the Selway that you did. So thanks for doing that.
Yeah, I'm really excited about that one.
Well, I have an agenda now for the show, and we're going to start with Go Raft by talking about GoRafting.com, the sponsor of this episode. And I know you kind of talked up Go Rafting a little bit in that Selway episode I listened about. What's your thoughts about GoRafting.com?
Well, so I hate paper maps. Like I have tons of them, just for the fact that like I like collecting them. But I have had so many issues on rivers of looking at a paper map being lost into where I am on the river. And I've taken bad lines because the map told me go left, even though my read told me some totally different. And then I realized I'm on the wrong section of water. Like I've missed that
You
rapid.
don't know where you are. You think
Yeah, I
you're
don't know where
somewhere
I
else.
am. And what I like about Go Rafting is it uses your GPS on your phone. And so you don't have to guess of where you are. And definitely like for a lot of us, I mean, you've ran the same section of water 10, 15 times in a year, like on the Middle Fork. For us that have scheduled camps on the
Mhm.
Middle Fork, and I have no clue where they are, like on the river, having that GPS and being able to have all those camps along the way is a game changer.
Yeah, I think that it's the future. And I thought you didn't like paper maps because they change over time, but it's because you lose them. They blow away in the wind,
No, it's more of that,
or
like,
you just don't know where you're at.
I don't know where I'm at because, like, if the only way I can keep where I'm at on the river is constantly looking at it,
Yeah,
go like, oh, definitely on like the Middle Fork where you have so many class 1, class 2 rapids that you're
it's hard to know
really
which
not.
one's which.
Yes. That then some looks big, and now I'm scrambling going through the 3 pages I haven't been paying attention
Yeah.
to and trying to catch up of where I'm at. So that's what I'm really excited about, having GPS tied maps.
What would be cool is if this is a suggestion for the people to do the app. If you can say what camp you're at, and then it buzzes you when you're close.
Oh, that would be cool.
You-
Low geo,
You
like
tag your camp
geofencing.
and it rings, and like, oh, I should pay attention. My camp's coming up here.
Because that stresses me out
Mhm.
on rivers that have scheduled camps. Because like if you miss it, I mean, you're kind of screwed.
Yeah, yeah. If you're on the rogue and you're expecting to camp at a certain spot, you just don't know that spot, and you pass it, you don't even know what's coming downstream. If you don't know where you're at, you don't know what's coming up.
Yeah.
So just for those of you that don't know what GoRafting.com is, it's a website, and they sell an app. They sell maps on an app. The app is called Far Out Guides. They do hiking guides and all kinds of guides. the Go Rafting guys have developed the river maps for a bunch of rivers throughout the West. I wrote the Illinois guide, and so I think it's a decent Illinois guide. And you mentioned they need a Selway guide. I didn't realize they didn't have a Selway guide.
Yeah, I mean, but it's like the Selway. There's way less people that go on it, so I can see why they don't, and maybe they just haven't partnered with because Alta runs some Selway trips, commercial.
Arda. Yep.
Maybe they can get hooked up with one of those guides and get a Selway guide put together.
Yeah, I mean, even if they don't even need to, it helps to talk to a guide. But even if the map laid out the campsites, laid out the major rapids, so you kind of had a sense of where you're at, that's the basics. Maybe they sell like a Selway basic package, it's like $5 or whatever.
Yeah, but
Maybe
I
they'll
think,
do that.
but like the detail, I think Go Rafting beats the other product. I'm drawing a blank on the
The
name.
NRS one.
Yeah, is that the detail that's on GoRafting.com is unmatched, and so I could see why they haven't produced a product that they can't, isn't at the same level that their
They won't put out a bad
are.
map. Like they won't like kind of half-ass it and put out something. They want it to be really good with photos, with all the content, not like here's a few data points you should know. The one that interested, I think it's called Waterways or something like that. It doesn't like tell you where at. It shows you the location of the camps and things. It shows you your location, but it doesn't tell you you're 1.2 miles away. It doesn't know the path of the river. It's a map with like data points, so it's helpful. But the Go Rafting one, it knows you're 1.3 miles from a rapid, and it keeps track of your distance on the track, which I think is really cool. Okay, well, that's our quick discussion / commercial. Thanks for being part of that, Cody. I was stoked you were here because I know you talked about that in your last Selway episode. And we have some good questions, and we're just going to jump into them. The first one is, what are the dimensions of a cataract frame you'd recommend for a 14-foot wave destroyer? The shave strip is 93 inches long. Any particular brands you would recommend? Thanks. I feel like we answered this question last week. Did I mess up? Oh, you know what? These are last week's questions. Okay, hold on, Cody. I got to figure out how to load the new questions. While I do that, where are you going to go boating on Thursday?
If the water is good, I want to get a wind lap in.
Who are you going to go with?
Dave Hammer.
Oh yeah.
And then if the flows were looking good, I was gonna text you tomorrow.
Yeah, I might go skiing tomorrow. Skiing has been amazing. Okay, I've almost got this figured out. Yeah, but man, I kind of want to go to the wind now.
Well, go skiing tomorrow, and that's the day at work, and then on Thursday, then we'll go boating. It'll just be interesting to see. There's a lot of water coming in. Just depends on where it freezes, because with the freezing level low, it could maintain a pretty good level on the wind. If it's raining up a little bit higher, I could see that the water level is going to get decently high with the amount of water we have coming in. So, and if not, then go do the upper clock. Get prepared for our upcoming May challenge.
Are you going to take part of it? Wait, are you going to be part of the wind race? Or are you
I'm going to be part of the wind race, and so I'm going to be at the wind race, and then also just get prepared for Clackfest.
Okay, so we're going to get to the wind race and Clackfest in a little bit, so you can see the correct agenda for today. And so this is the first actual question. Sorry for starting off with the wrong question. How does a mid-low water trip on the Selway compare to a mid-low water trip on the Middle Fork Salmon in terms of difficulty? Are there skills or additional requirements you would want in a boater on the Selway above and beyond what would qualify them as successful in the Middle Fork?
What do you think they mean by mid-low? Like a foot? Like, because I think the Selway is one of those rivers, as it gets lower, it gets easier as long as you manage your gear properly. Like, you watch videos of people go down the Selway at 0.7 feet and they're taking 14, 15-foot boats fully loaded down. They're going to have a problem. But the people
Well, hold
that
on.
take,
They may have a problem. If they have the skills, they won't have a problem.
yeah, I mean, even then, like ladle at low flows, like pinball, um, at low flows, like there's just a lot of rocks. There's a
Yeah.
lot of tight, areas that if you just took like an inflatable kayak, went light, I think you could be a class 3 boater and manage the Selway at low water.
I'm not going to go that far, but
Like,
yeah, I think the key, there's certain low water skills not everybody has. And I would say it also requires physical fitness.
yeah,
So if you like, I would say if you're like young, you're agile, you're strong, you can jump around on rocks, you're like a little ninja, yes. But if you're, not as in good physical shape, maybe that's not a good idea. I think physical fitness is a big attribute for being able to like do things like that. I think when they say mid to low water, I'm guessing like what if it's gonna be like end of July kind of flows,
oh,
not like crazy low, but not like 3 feet on the middle fork, which is like the prime level, 3 or 4 feet. My thinking is the Subway is just like it's a step up above the middle fork. I would call the middle fork generally class 3, and the Subway generally class 4. So it's a solid step up from the middle fork at similar flows.
I mean, you've done the middle fork, tons. Would you
Mhm.
say that the top 20 miles of the middle fork are equivalent to the Selway, or would you
It's always
think
harder.
it's always hard?
Yeah, I mean, it's the yeah. I mean, the Subway's I think a step up. I mean, you can flip on the Subway, you can flip on the middle fork too, and like if all flows are equal, it's like medium low middle fork and medium low Subway. The maneuvers in the Subway are just more technical, require a higher level of skill, for sure. Yeah, I mean, and one thing too is like with the Subway, not many people know it that well. So
Yeah.
usually somebody in your group has done it a few times and like, oh, I know where I'm at. On the Subway, it's like this is your once in a lifetime shit. You get to do it every year, but not everybody's like that. But
I
like
know, yeah, like, and we had a guy that he was the salty guy because he had done it twice before
Mhm.
on our
Yeah.
trip last year. So it's like, and he's leading.
Yep.
So
And and I've only done it once, so I have to go back in my memory of the rapids. But that whole double drop sequence where I think a lot of people can flip in there pretty easily, which sets you up for ladle and other stuff
yeah.
down below. There's that rapid at the end that's kind of hard.
Go
Something
Creek,
Wolf Creek.
Wolf Creek.
That
Yeah,
one's way hard, but all that's way
yeah,
harder than anything on the middle fork at similar flows.
yeah.
Like Velvet at 6 feet is probably more dangerous and more difficult than anything on the Selway when the Selway is medium low. But all things equal, the Selway is just a solid step up from the middle fork.
But what's nice about the Selway is they're very scoutable rapids.
Yeah.
They're like the middle fork. They're definitely in that top 20. There's so many in close, progression of it. I mean, a lot of that is read and run. And I would put that I actually thought one of the hardest part of the Selway was the first half day. And like there are no named rapids, they're class 2s and class 3s,
Yeah.
but they are so close in procession. And it's all read and run. And you coming out of your boat is a long bad swim. Is like
Yeah.
that honestly caused me more anxiety than the big rapids that you could pull over and scout.
I mean, same with the top of the middle fork. It's
Yeah.
continuous, quick succession. They have names, but nobody knows what they are because it's just like boom, boom, boom. So I would just say the quick answer to this is the Selway's a step above the middle fork of the salmon. Are there skills or additional requirements you'd want a boater in the Selway above and beyond what you'd qualify them to be successful on the middle fork? So I read that terribly. I'm sorry, everyone. I think the question somebody's asking here is, our friends have successfully done the middle fork. What do they need to do now to successfully do the Selway? I feel like that's what's being like we can handle the middle fork. I'm not sure we can handle the Selway. What do we need to do? And that's really hard to answer. Like just because you did the middle fork, did you style it or did you barely survive it? Like where were you on that? Were you getting stuck a bunch? Did you have a flip? Like I don't know the answer, but I would say the Selway requires a class 4 skill set.
And
And to
really
me,
good
that would
read.
be
Yeah.
you
Really
need to
good
be able
read
to
and run.
pre-flip your boat pretty quickly. You need to be able to get back to your boat. You need to swim back to your boat. You need to be able to get yourself in a boat. Your friends need to have good, proper boat spacing and boat order to recover. If anybody falls out, you need a quick solution to that. Like on the middle fork, if somebody falls out, you want to get them in, but like on the subway, it's more important. It's a class 4 skill, like especially double drop. You don't want to keep swimming. So having downstream safety set. So having a team of boaters who set proper spacing is important. And I just think you need to be able to downstream ferry and ferry across the river by pulling, which a lot of people just push their way down the river. That's not going to gen us that way well. You need to have these other skills to successfully do it.
The only two I would probably add is I think your odds of a pin are way higher on the Selway than on the middle fork. So really good skill, knowledge, ability, and just not one person. Multiple people need to have the knowledge to be able to unpin a boat. And you don't have anyone else to come down and help you. You don't have a guide company there that can give you a hand, or other private groups. Like you're going to be on your own for a few days if you have a bad pin.
So I would just say it's a solid step up from the middle fork, and whatever that means, not knowing your exact skill level now of whoever's going. Let's see. So yeah, this is the point. Hells and Powerhouse at 5+ feet, comparable to Subway at 4. I think that Hells and Powerhouse at 5 feet are easier than the Subway at 4. They're not that. I mean, they're continuous at 5+ feet, but they're not that hard. Well, there's stuff in the Subway at 4 feet that's hard. I would say Velvet at 5+ feet is definitely comparable to Subway at 4. Velvet is the thing that stands out in the middle fork at high water. But Hells and Powerhouse, it's hard to. That's a good question, Mike. I'm not sure. I was about to say this exact thing. What exact thing? Okay, want to move on? Yeah. You feel like we answered that pretty well?
Yeah.
We did the best we could. It's a tough question.
This is for entertainment sometimes.
But
I'm back. I'm on. So it's for entertainment. Everything you answer is educational.
Yeah, no. So this is the
educational one, but
this is entertainment, this is education. No, hold on. This is entertainment, not education. Like, please don't listen to us and make a decision about your trip. We're giving you our best answer in the context of entertainment. Like, if you need education, go to Mountain Buzz. That's where all the answers.
If you added both of our trips together, we've been on the Selway twice.
Yep. Yeah, oh yeah, need boat rescue skills in the Selway. Yeah. If you need to be able to handle your own business, like you just need to. With the middle fork, you should too, but like there's some safety groups a day. Like somebody may help you out. And honestly, like when I first read this question, if you're asking this question, I would be wary. Like if you're simply asking this, I would be hesitant to go on that trip.
But also like they haven't seen it. Nobody has. And so like might be asking, maybe that's a good thing that they're asking, because they might have somebody that they invited on a middle fork trip and they're like that they did fine, but man, maybe not. Like,
yeah, I think if you're just doing like a multi-day trip a year, like here or there, maybe a Rogue and a middle fork or whatever, that's all you boat, you're probably not ready for the Selway.
I would agree.
I think you need to be a boater. You need to be getting out doing the wind on Thursday. You need to be getting out doing the Clackamas or the South Fork American, North Fork American. Selway, if you're going to put the Selway, you need to be a boater. And you need to be getting out, practicing your skills, boating quite a bit, not just like a casual 1 or 2 multi-days a year kind of boater. All right, let's move on. What is the best way for a raft to carry and secure a ducky through the rapids on a raft? It always seems like the teens want to be in the ducky till the bigger rapids and they want to ride in the raft. I've seen a lot of different ways, towing, straddling, etc., besides deflating the ducky. What's the best way to secure it to the gear in our boat? Well, deflating it is the best. To put it in a bag, deflate it, tie it in really well, that's the best. That's the gold standard. Towing it just takes a higher level of skill, and it depends on the rapid you're doing. You could probably tow it through like most of the Rogue, but you're probably not going to tow it through Blossom Bar. or Mule Creek Canyon. You can tow it through some of the easy days in the Middle Fork, but you're probably not going to tow it through Red Side. It just we just turn them upside down, put them on the back of the stack of bags, and tie the D rings down of the ends of the ducky down to the D rings on the sides of the back of the raft. Hopefully that makes sense. So just if you're rowing behind you, upside down, rig it down. The more straps, the better. Any thoughts?
I agree with all of it.
Yep. Exactly. Nick and I work together a bunch. Nick and I have done this a ton, and yep, it's the move. It's pretty smooth. Now, if you flip a wrap, it's gonna be messy. But so you don't want to do it through hard rapids. Nick, have you ever towed behind you? I've done it a few times. I wonder what you think about that towing behind you method. All right. My wife and I are experienced kayakers, rafters, taking the family down the Lower Salmon this year, and our 2 rafts simply don't have enough space. It's possible that I'm going to be short on experienced rowers, so I'd be open to hiring a guide to row a gear boat if that's something you do. So this was a question that was asked to my company this week, and I just want to reiterate this answer because it's really important. If you're on a private trip, it needs to be a cost shared trip. You cannot hire somebody to help you row your trip. You have to be self-contained. You have to have if you're going to do a private trip, you have to have the boats, the skilled rowers, and the equipment to do it. You can't hire somebody to come on the trip and be a rower. So the answer is we can't do that. This is the important thing. This is happening more and more. Somebody gets a Middle Fork permit, and they don't have the experience of the friends, but they applied for a permit, and then they're calling me asking me to supply the guides. And it's not in the spirit of a private trip. And that person never should have applied for the permit to begin with.
Yeah. And when I think even though the Lower Salmon is just a self-issue permit, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if it's lottery, doesn't matter if it's self-issued. It's if you're on a private trip, and I know that's a little bit more money, but if you pay for a guided trip, if you're taking these people that don't have experience, show them a good time. Pay for that guided experience, and they're going to get good food, good equipment, or just say, sorry, we don't have space for you on this trip, and you'll get them next time.
So this was specifically a Lower Salmon. So, I mean, you still can't do it.
Yeah.
It's not like they took a permit away. I get this call a lot because somebody got a Middle Fork permit and they don't know what they're doing. And they want to hire guides to run it. And I'm like, that's so frustrating because you just took a permit away from somebody who has the equipment and the skills and the friends to do this trip.
Well, turn it back in. If you get one and you can't pull it together, just turn it back in with over your 21 days and let somebody else get down that river.
Okay. Recently I was cruising the FB Marketplace. That's short for Facebook, for those of you who don't know, and saw an NRS thigh brace for sale. NRS, by the way, is short for Northwest River Supplies. This is definitely not something I was looking for. Just wanted to get your thoughts on this thing. Appears to me to be more of a hazard or potential death trap than a necessity. Any IRF implications? It's probably not in your wheelhouse, but how does NRS get away with selling something like this? It seems like more of a problem in lurking liability than their letter open or river knife. Burn. Ouch.
I wonder, it looks like they're talking about the fishing thigh braids.
Yeah. I looked it up. Let me see if I can bring it up here. It's exactly what I think it is. I'm going to add it to the thing. It's this thing, I think.
Oh.
There's a couple of these. There's a U-shaped one, and there's a let me see, and there's this one. So I think sometimes we're assuming that everybody's running whitewater. We forget there's a lot of people doing class 1. And this is something for people that are doing class 1 and 2 that are fishing. It's not designed for whitewater. It should say NRS fishing frame thigh bar, maybe, so people don't accidentally buy it for rafting. But so I think for whitewater, I probably wouldn't use this thing, but I see way more dangerous things that people have on the rafts than this little bar, honestly. Go to the put in for the Middle Fork, and you'll see way more dangerous things on the side of boats than this little bar. Not that it's okay. And you asked me any IRF implications. That's confusing to me because the IRF, it's an organization that standardizes guide training around the world. They don't get involved in what gear works and what doesn't work. They just say, What they do in the training is promote the clean line principle, which is about minimizing the entrapments. And so this has nothing to do with IRF, but this, I would maybe say could maybe be a violation of the clean line principle, which is an important part of IRF training. And so it's hard to say if this is a violation of clean line principle. It's just common sense, not a good idea for whitewater. Does that seem right?
Yeah, but for the people that are using this on the the lower Clackamas, in the Portland area, tons of fishermen. I mean, it's class 1 riffles. I mean, if you're flipping a boat, you're probably putting it up into a root ball or something that's going to be way more of an issue than, this thigh bar. And it's like one of those things that I would, if I was on a boat and was on a fishing trip, I would be okay with it.
Yeah. And Mike's saying, yeah, I mean, when you're fishing, they're really nice. I can see that. Like, you lean up against it. It's probably a super nice thing for fishing. And you can see this person who reviewed it on the NRS site. Person is not running the wind with this boat. Has an anchor, has that rope all over itself. Let's say he has a beer on a seat. Like, these guys this is like a class 1 river, probably in Montana.
Yeah, exactly. And it's great for that. And so, no problems with it. These guys are also running, their waders with no life jackets.
Yep.
That's more of that's
not that it's okay to do that.
No, that's that's the bigger issue is no life jackets and waders.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of it. Like, that's just one of the problems. Okay. This is the last question / comment. Not really a question, but an answer to alternate to our NRS seats. And he sent me a link. Let me see if I can pull that. How do I pull this up? Shoot. I bought this seat, so I can bring it up on the web. Hold on, let me try to bring it up on the web here. Give me a second, everyone. So it's this seat for $89.99, and I bought it. Like, the person, here it is. Oh, I made myself big. And this is an alternative to NRS seats. It's this bad boy. And I ordered it 2 days ago. It showed up 10 minutes before the show. And this is an NRS seat. Classic. Now, they've redesigned it a few times. We had a bunch of them come unglued up here, and the seat came out, like brand new ones come unglued. And, when you buy stuff from NRS, you should just sort of expect that could happen, that it comes unglued and you have to fix it. They sent me a bunch of epoxy to glue it back to itself. And so these are not like top of the line seats. They're seats, and they're pretty affordable. I don't know how much these are. Like, they're probably $70. They're basically replacement tractor seats, and they have a very specific pattern where the holes go to work with NRS seat mounts. They're based on tractor seats. This is actually a tractor seat, and if you hold it, it has a ton of mounts. It's heavier. It's definitely heavier. It definitely feels way more durable. I'm going to try it out on my seat, and it's a little bit higher back. And so if you put them side by side, can you see that? The back's a little higher. It's just a little bit bigger. If you weigh over 220 pounds, you're going to want this for your butt. If you're like me, this is a good, you're going to want this for your butt. Otherwise, this is probably adequate. And so I think that it looks sweet. I haven't tried it, but thanks for sharing the link with me. I think it's
cheaper. It looked like it was like what, $90?
Yeah, how much is NRS seat?
160. I just looked at
what? Oh, no way.
160 for the low.
There's no way they're charging 100. What?
NRS, you get high prices for medium tier gear.
For like, medium what gear?
Medium. It's like medium tier gear. It's like, it's not horrible, but it's not.
Come on, it's not. Hold on, medium's a little high.
I would say it's like, but they charge like it's the best gear on the market.
I'm going to call it medium low level gear. I'm not going to say low on everything, but like medium, $160. Oh man, it's really hard to judge. And I own like 25 of these. Like, if I could trade them all in right now for these, well, especially because we need more durable things. We break these NRS seats a lot. I feel like if you hold this, it feels way, way, way superior to the NRS one.
And
But,
also, like,
my friend
and it
told me
just,
about the frames. The NRS Longhorn frame. He pointed
Yeah.
something out to me. We have tons of them, right?
Yeah.
We use them for our classes. If you look at the cost of the frame, it's these used to be $400 just a couple years ago. Inflation's gotten to us. $625. Like a large, like almost half of it is the seat.
Yeah.
Because the seat is 160 and the mount is like 100 and something.
Yeah.
So 260-ish of this amount is just the seat. Just crazy. Like
Which is great. Yep.
that's a pretty big percentage of this whole frame.
I feel like if you were spending $160 and it came with the seat and the mount, you could argue that that was a good price. But you have to buy the mount and then $160 seat.
Yes. And there's new people making mounts like Thomas at Better Mounts. Let me see if I can open this up. What I would do now is go with Thomas's seat mount for $80, which is, I'm pretty sure, is less than the NRS one, and throw that seat plus this seat plus that mount.
Oh, you're right there.
About the cost of just this NRS thing, which I had to tell you, I think I bought 8 of these last year. 3 of them came unglued. And one of them came unglued on the river. It's very annoying when they come unglued on the river on you. You don't want these coming unglued while you're using them, which is a very annoying thing. The bonus of the Better Mounts one, and I talked about another one last week, and this other company's making them, is you don't have to take the seat off to take the seat mount off. Do you know about that issue with the NRS seat? So
I hate it.
You have to put the mount on first and then the seat.
And even to adjust
it.
I like to have my seat tip forward a little bit, like on those Longhorn frames. So the whole seat's got to come off.
Look at that seat mount.
God. Yeah, those Better Mounts are great.
Yep. I got to get one of these. Okay, so let's get to questions here. That's insane how expensive. Yeah, it's I thought it'd be like $80. Like, yeah. Curious to see if the higher back is annoying for pulling. So, Nick, I've used really high back seats before, and they're a little annoying for pulling, but they keep you in the boat better. Like they're the ones that go, like I've sat in high mount seats that go up this high, as high as my chair is, where like, and a lot of the class 5 guys do that because if you get thrown back, you don't want to get thrown behind yourself in the boat. And so and there's one that like swivels up. I have one in my garage next. I can show you next time you're here. But it is a little annoying for pulling, but you're more secure in the boat. So it's a trade-off. And this is barely higher. I think this one, I don't think it'd be that annoying. It will be there. The NRS one, if you're wearing a waist belt throw bag, this one is fine. This one actually with the waist belt throw bag might be annoying. And then you may not wear your waist belt throw bag with this seat. That's why we sit on yeah. I don't. It's insane to me that people sit on seats on top of boxes. Like that shouldn't happen.
Yeah, it's one of those things. So the boat builders, it's a upgrade because it costs them make more. So I feel like it created this thing where people think it's a better product because it's more expensive. Because you had to, when you are doing all your add-ons, that you got to, it's like $300 more to add a seat, and so that's why I think it really gets people to think that it's a
like,
better.
It costs more. Let me step my raft up. This one, let's see if I can find it. This is becoming a thing. Seats. So yeah, these are like, this is, here's the tractor seat, $160. The deluxe swivel seat and the basic swivel seat. Something like those are kind of nice. Actually, I've used them a few times and they're kind of nice. The high back one the NRS makes, this is the one that drives me crazy. This thing sits you so high in your boat. It looks very deluxe, but you sit so high in your boat, you don't have very good oar management. It's hard to manage your oars well. Something like that. Actually, that's not that much higher than the box. I see them way, way higher than the box. And then that's out of control. Oh, that's cute. All right, I take it back. I love the seat now. Okay. Anyway, yeah, Tin Man, I agree. Sitting on a pad of dry box or a cooler is definitely the way to go. Okay, so I think we're done with questions / comments. Thank you everybody who submitted questions this week and comments. I'll talk about the wind race a little bit. Are you going to come to the festival?
Yes.
It
I already.
is
Yeah. What, March 23rd?
3rd, I think. We're less than a month away.
Yeah. I've been training hard to topple you. I'm more worried about Clackfest because of your reign of cat boat champion. So that's what I'm coming for this year.
Okay. You're more worried about Clackfest because I've
Yeah.
won more Clackfests.
Yes.
I've won a lot of wind races too.
Are they doing a cat boat wind race this year?
Yeah. So Jesse Fisher from Class 5 River Gear. I went to Clackfest a few years ago to R2 race, and he said I was what did he say about me? He kind of called me out for not cat boat racing. Like I was afraid of him. And that's why I was R2 racing. And I didn't know people were cat boat racing. And so ever since then, I've been like, all right, next time we're going to do it. And we didn't do it last year. And so this year we're going to settle the score. So I have Jesse, and then somebody else just messaged me. They want to do it. So there's 3 of us for sure. Are you in? Are you going to be 4?
Yeah, I'm in.
Okay. And I have a pretty high level of confidence I'm going to win. So
I mean, I don't know why. It's not like you've done the wind a few hundred times. Yeah. So
I'm pretty confident I have a chance of winning this. So confident. I'm gonna put a $250 wager on myself. So if somebody beats me, I will give them $250.
Yeah, a little bounty on your head.
A bounty on my head. I want people to go. I want there to be more competitors. I'd make it more, but I worry that if I make it too much, people will gang up because it's a head-to-head race. People will gang up against me to block me just so I lose. I don't want to make it too incentivized, but I want people to come and race. So if I lose, I will give the winner $250. Oh, dude,
I'm really excited.
Nick, you should come. Be great. I will give you a cat boat to race. It won't be as good as the one I have, but it will be a cat boat. Let's get some more comments really quick. Looking for a stern mount seat for my frame, 13-foot raft. The NRS is looking for a stern mount seat from my frame, 13-foot raft. The NRS is $495. Any alternatives? Hey, ADS Outdoors. I don't understand what you're asking. Looking for
I'm thinking like the stern mount fishing frame. So
stern mount seat from my frame.
Yeah, like for his frame, I think, instead of from.
Didn't we just talk about stern mount seats for the past few minutes?
But I think it's just if there's any other options of tubes or because where you have to buy everything is you have to buy the whole mount that mounts to the frame to create that stern mount seat.
So go to here's where I would go. If I think we're answering a question, maybe answer your question again in a way that's a little more understandable. I'm kind of slow sometimes in understanding questions. I would go to bettermounts.com. Thomas is doing cool stuff. I have some of his stuff. I like it. And he makes this seat adapter. He'll sell you the seat, luxury captain seat for $150 on sale. It's a little high for my taste, but I would get this seat mount. I think that's what you're asking. So we just talked about it a minute ago. The seat mount, and then consider this $90 seat that we just talked about. I think that's what I would do. Cody, did I answer this question?
Yeah, I just think, it's going to be one of those things. I think you're just going to have to piecemeal it together. So you can either pay NRS and get a lump package that's medium tier to low tier, or you can, kind of work through it, get a swivel seat on your own, get this bracket, work on finding what bars will, bend up and over, and put some time and effort into it, and you'll get something a little bit nicer for the same price or a little bit cheaper.
And Thomas sells all the bars, the foot bar, the side rails, the crossbars. He sells the frame hardware. And so he can sell you a frame. The thing he doesn't sell yet, I don't think he sells, is the Aurora Tower, which you probably need to buy from NRS. Right, here's Thomas right here. Milsco makes the NRS seat and won't play ball. They won't sell low back to us. And for a high back, They only want to play ball if I buy 3 containers worth. Whoa. Okay, so Thomas is the guy who owns Better Mounts. There's a company that makes the NRS seat, and they won't even sell the low back seat to him. That's crazy. That could be sweet if you can make it. Yeah, I have a great video. Nick and I went on the wind a couple years ago, and he had a nasty capo pin initiation. I go, hey Nick, you should follow where I go through initiation. Like, right? That's a good rule of thumb. It's hard to explain. Just watch where I go and do what I do. And he saw where I went, and he didn't like it, so he went somewhere else and pinned his boat. Like that's the win, though. If you got an NRS frame, you can essentially recreate the Longhorn. Wait, if you got an NRS frame, and put the seat on the stern. No need for the curvy bars. I think that maybe that's the answer to the question earlier. Okay, so back to the wind race. I'm stoked you'll be there. There's 4 of us racing. Hopefully we can encourage some more people who watch the show to come out and race. It's head-to-head capo racing in class 4 or 4+. I mean, what's better than that?
Yeah, and the gorge encourages just really good outdoor events. I mean, it just in between the little white race and everything like there, the people that are in the gorge and at those races they're great people. So even if you aren't racing, just come out, hang out.
Yeah. And it's not like a festival like Boatsmith or Upper Clack Fest where there's a ton of people, a ton of events. It's literally like a race and go to a bar afterwards and have fun. So it's a pretty chill event. And then you'll go boating on Sunday. You'll find somewhere to go boating, but it's mostly about the race. That's, there's a little bit of lifestyling to do around the put in. And most people that go with boat, either when they need people to run safety. So if you don't want to race, just run the river and hang out below some of the big rapids and clean up the carnage from the racers. So I like it. Talk about Clackfest. Have you really been training?
Yeah, really training really hard.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I've been on the rower. Again, that VO2 max up. Like I said, I'm coming for you this year.
What's your strategy for getting the VO2 max up?
80% zone 2 heart rate running. Been running, 7 to 10 miles, and then been doing a lot of rower at work. Just high output, 2 to 5 minute exertions.
Oh, there you go. That's what I was worried about. When you said zone 2, I'm like, oh, no problem. It's those 2 to 5 minute sprints that's going to get your VO2 max moving.
Yeah, because definitely in like Clackfest, it's a lot of flat water between the start and where you actually have to make moves. So I don't know. Well, I'm just excited. If I lose, I lose, but I will talk a lot of trash along the way.
I mean, you're doing the right thing. I thought you were kidding when you said you were training.
Okay.
That's on the rower for 2 to 5 minute sprints. That's where it's at. The wind race though is no slouch. The first there's a mile or so. I think it's 0.9 miles of flat water warm up. So you basically are battling with everybody the first mile just to get position before the rapids,
and then run
hard rapids.
Yeah, the wind race is definitely one that I probably will not be attempting to put up a good time. Just making it down that river in a good fashion safely is good enough for me.
My goal is to put up such a good time that you'll give up on training for Clackfest. You'll be like, yeah, there's no chance. Like I got so dominated there. I see what's coming.
Oh. But I'm super looking forward to it. And then obviously you got some class 4 schools coming up.
The next starting next week. 5 in a row, I think.
Nice.
So I'll be working on the river a lot. Hopefully get in the gym every night to do some training. Hopefully we'll see what happens. Come on out. Let's do it. Let's dance. Like I want some competition. I want to pay some gas money for Idaho people to come out. So spread the word. Like I definitely want to win, but I don't want to just beat one person. I want to have a few people out there. I need some fodder for the race, some pawns to beat. Here we go. Here's a question for you.
Honestly, no clue. It's at work, and so they provide it. Like
it's just the one they let you use.
Good. Yeah, I couldn't tell you.
Yeah. So cool. Are you So you'll be at Wind Race and you boat that Sunday somewhere? You can come out for the day and go home.
I don't know. We'll play it by ear. Maybe we'll stay the night up there somewhere.
Sweet. Well, that's it for this episode. Anything you want to promote? Anything on your channel you want to promote coming up?
So I'm really working on series of like how to trip plan. I think definitely for private boaters, that's one of the things that's incredibly tough. I've ran the Middle Fork once in my entire life, and then I might win a trip and then have to be the trip leader and put everything together. So I've been putting one together on the Selway, how to read water flows, how to prepare for water flows, access, everything. So if there's any rivers that, you guys want me to dive into, be super excited too. But just been super appreciative of everyone that have taken the time to watch my videos.
And here's your channel. Hit that subscribe button. Everybody go over that right now. Hit subscribe. It's youtube.com/@privatewhitewater. And these Selway videos are awesome. Like, I just think they're fun to listen to. Like when I'm working in the garage or something, I'll turn them on just to see what you have to think and see if I can pick up some tips and tricks. So I'm stoked on these videos. Yeah.
And then we'll get some Illinois footage coming up.
Are you going there soon?
I don't know. Hopefully.
Yeah.
March, April, May.
It looks like we're gonna have a decent snowpack. The place that has a snowpack this year is the Oahe.
Yeah.
The Oahe's gonna be a great season.
Don't try to do a Jawbridge Bruno trip this year. So I've never done it. So I'm looking forward to it. And that's why I bought a really light cat boat, super light frame, even deleted the center tubes of it to save 15 pounds purely for the Jawbridge.
Wow.
So I can, making portages easier.
Is this also your racing frame? Is this all your racing tubes because they're super light?
Do you think having lighter tubes would make it easier? Yeah. I would think like having a little bit of weight behind it. But
you want to kill weight.
So, I mean, my whole setup is incredibly light. So
yeah. You want to, do you want that boat to move? You want to pull it and then you want to accelerate that boat. You're accelerating it a lot because you can't keep speed. There's so much friction that you want to accelerate above that water as much as you can. And the lighter that boat is, the easier it is to accelerate it.
Yeah. So I've been really, really happy with my aluminum frame and my 12.5 Legend tubes. They've been killer.
Yeah.
So
sweet.
Yeah.
Well, everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for submitting comments and questions. If you have questions for next week's show, go to whitewaterguidebook.com. You'll see the place to. Oh, one thing before we go. I just updated. People asked me to do this for a while, and I want to let everybody know. I finally updated the form for questions. So I was saying, if you want to add a question for the show, you go to Gear Garage, add a question or comment. I updated the form. That's annoying. To where the question box can get bigger. I had to hire a web designer to do this because I couldn't figure it out. It was like something I worked on for 6 months. And look how big the question box can get. Isn't that awesome?
That's awesome.
I'm pretty excited about this. So please use this. If you have a question, that's how we catalog the questions. And if you text me or at Instagram message me, we might mess up your question, but this is the place to definitely have your question answered. In the past, if we didn't answer your question, this questionnaire form was going to spam a lot or I don't know. The questionnaire form we had before was awful. And so we didn't mean to ignore your question. We honestly lost a handful of them through weirdness. And this new form supposedly avoids spam. So we should be getting your question if you've asked it before and we didn't answer it for some reason. It's not us. It's not us not purposefully ignoring questions. We try to answer all of them. Jake says the 12.5 is still a big boat for the Jawbridge.
Yeah, I can only own so many boats. But it's like, yeah, I would love to have, an 11s in there with a 32-inch wide frame and there, but I'll deal with it.
It's flow dependent too.
Yeah.
Like it definitely at low flow, you're not going to be happy, but it's also ducky self-support.
Yeah.
The Jawbridge is a great, because you have to portage Jawbridge Falls. The ducky might be the way to go. Or is it Jawbridge Falls you portage, or that changed? I think there's a new rapid.
I think there's 2 portages now on it. So, but yeah, the Jawbridge Falls is one of them. But Yeah, and my buddy has a Cronin. I don't own one personally, but I'll just rent one, buy one at some point. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's not a bad choice either.
Yeah. We squeezed an 11-foot down, 3,000 the Bruno. Yeah, good to know.
Oh.
No, thanks for the help. Okay, I'm gonna shut this one down. Cody, thanks for being here. As always, thanks everybody for watching, and we'll see you hopefully next Tuesday.